Hey, hey, I'm
Hey,
Amanda.
I'm Emily.
Welcome to Getting Juicy.
Ew, I like it when you say it with your little twang. Sounds
That's funny because, like, I don't even hear it. Um, okay, girl, let's dive in. We are at the end
we
of
made
the Ultimatum Season 3.
season three.
We made it to the end. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts.
I don't
Um,
have, I really don't. I was thinking that. I didn't really write notes this time.
mhm.
And then I'm like, what do I really want to say today? I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll get into it. Okay. So let's talk about episode 9, where they chose their
Mhm.
and I personally like this is my least favorite because I just don't like to watch it. Like, I feel like it's a really personal moment in somebody's life, and I don't like to watch it. Like, The Bachelor, Bachelorette, all of those, the proposal is my least favorite part of the whole thing.
It is?
Yes, I just find it so uncomfortable because, like, it's always so staged. You're going to stand here, you're going to stand here. You need to give a talk, you need to give a talk.
Yeah.
I feel like in the ultimatum, maybe it's as like produced,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I don't really feel like a lot of people have like a good idea of what they want to say. Like at least in this episode, I didn't feel like a lot of them really had a lot of like planned dialogue that they wanted to share. It was just kind of, I don't know, uncomfortable. I just don't love it.
Yeah, I so the reason you don't love it is because it's very personal, like for them, and it feels staged to you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Usually in The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. This one, I just, all of these people, I feel like are a train wreck. So
Yeah.
they,
See, they are. I like to hear the proposals in like The Bachelor and Bachelorette because I just like hearing what they're saying to the person,
okay.
like why they want to be with them or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, maybe like I just that's my Tarian Venus love part of me, maybe the Aphrodite in my chart. Um, but I will say for this on the ultimatum, I was um I was kind of like not sure what several of them were gonna do. And then one thing that we have to talk about was Scotty and Arya
Yeah.
because I was literally like what the fuck is happening right now? And why is she saying yes?
I had the same thoughts, but I almost wondered when she said yes. I don't know. I feel like he said all of these things that weren't accurate for his behavior.
Right. Nothing
And
alike.
yeah, and in the moment, I think she thought maybe like she was really interested in him, but I don't know. I don't know. I just, yeah, I don't know if she just said yes because like she felt bad saying no, like publicly. I don't know. I just,
Well, I think she mentioned in the reunion, because are we talking about that too? We're talking about
yeah,
both,
yeah.
right? Okay. So in the reunion, she mentioned that it was just happening so fast. And I guess she kind of felt overwhelmed. And I
Yeah.
wasn't surprised at all that they broke up because
Right.
when I was watching it, it was so clear. And I actually had made a little note that it was like, are you familiar with Eckhart Tolle? I think that's how you
No.
say it. Okay. Well, he is an author and he's written like he writes spiritual books and he talks about the pain body and how we have like a pain body and a lot of times in relationship we will get in relationship with someone who activates our pain body. And that was like the first thing. And I haven't even thought about the concept of the pain body in years. But
Yeah.
it just popped up for me when Scotty was proposing, and I was like watching her even before that though, but like I could really see it in the proposal, and I was like, ding, 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 pain buddies, pain buddies, pain buddies. Like I just, it was like alarms going off for me. And I was like, please, God, don't say yes to him because I can just see it all over you that you really don't want to.
Yeah, she
And
was
of
very.
course, yeah, of course she did. But I do think, don't you think, I feel like it would be awkward to be like being recorded and the pressure of like the time it has to be on this day and you
Yeah,
have to know your yes or no on that day and then you're being like it's going to be aired and then there's like all these other things going on.
I completely agree. I think the pressure, I think that's the whole part of like reality TV is the cameras and all of that. Like, I cannot imagine you be able to just like block that out and be like, ah, whatever, I don't care. It's cameras, it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah, it would
yeah,
have to be in the back of your mind that people are going to see it, which is why also sometimes when people act a fool, I'm like, you didn't think about the fact that you're going to be like, this is all over national television or whatever, internationally, even, you know?
like millions of people are watching it. You would think there would be some point of reflection and like, oh, maybe this is not how I want to be perceived or I don't know, act.
Yeah.
You'd think.
So, another thing that we have to dive into,
Yeah,
okay,
tell me.
I think it's partly lining up with the astrology right now because there's a lot of dark goddess stuff in the astrology, and that's bringing like I don't know. I've been personally doing a lot of work with Lilith and Medusa and Hecate. Um, but so probably this is partly why I'm like on a rampage about this.
Yeah.
But um Zaina and JR. I okay, first of all, he's the only one, and I thought it was very gentlemanly of him. Like he went and opened her car door and met her at the car. I liked that. Did you
Yeah.
notice that at all?
No, because the rest of them I feel like was different. Like the guy was like waiting. Like there wasn't a car. Like the girl had to walk.
Well, they got out of a car and then walked up, but like he walked down and got Zaina.
Yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying there. I just feel like the rest of them were already in their spot.
Yeah, they were, yeah. But I liked that he did that. And I don't know if that was a personal decision or a production decision. Anyway, I took note. That's gentlemanly. Men, we like it when you do these gentlemanly things for us.
I would agree with that. And I'm like, I don't know, the way that was set up, I kind of felt like maybe he was going to propose.
I did too.
I was kind of surprised. But then when he talked to Sandy, I also was like, is he just hoping that she'll be like, hey, you want to like date? Like, I'm going to say no to Nick.
I I did actually kind of wonder that too. I was like, is he filling this out to know what to do with Zaina?
I thought. But I wonder if the rest of them meet up and we just don't get to see it.
Right. I have no idea, but I did find that interesting.
To see Caleb and Arya have like a chat.
Yeah, I would love to hear them talk, especially now that he
Oh,
knows that she's broken up because the way his facial expressions when she was saying that,
um,
wow. Um,
yeah.
okay.
I have stuff about. I mean, I guess I don't have lots of stuff because they were pretty quiet. Like Caleb and Mariah were quiet, but I thought in the reunion they were quiet. But I was surprised that they ended up getting married or getting engaged. But I feel like with their was it episode 8? I felt like when they had like their conversations, we didn't get a lot of information around their conversations. They just kind of like were
Mm-hmm.
together and there was tension and upset, but we didn't get a lot of context with that. So I was like, well, maybe they're really, I don't know.
Yes, that it was, I feel like that was kind of a rushed point in the show.
Yeah.
Um, and I want to get into that, but I definitely just need to like my rampage moment here.
Go for it. I did.
I feel like, and you can tell me like if you agree, disagree, whatever, but I just feel like at the reunion, Zaina's behavior was completely ridiculous. Like she was so pissed off at JR. And I was just like, wait, why are you? I couldn't figure out why she was so pissed off because he broke it off with her. Like she's the one that did the ultimatum. She said, I'm out of here if you don't want to marry me. He said, I don't want to marry you. And then she's confused and pissed off with him that they kept seeing each other after and he didn't commit. It's like he already told you he's not committing. What are you confused about?
Yeah. Yes. That whole situation was confusing. And I actually listened to a podcast and she was on it and she was talking about how before they like even went on the show, he didn't want her to like mention him on Instagram. Like he didn't want the Instagram to be that they were like connected because of his business or something.
Yes. He mentioned that to Sandy.
And I'm like, okay, clearly he's not interested in being in a relationship because if you're in a relationship, you're committed. Like you are, you can't hide it. Like that's just, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Yeah. And I guess I just felt like she was taking no personal responsibility at all. She was just like, oh, he is such a terrible person because he kept seeing me and then he like canceled on my birthday and he did this and he did that. Well, boo hoo, poor you. I know I probably sound like such a bitch right now, but it's like you knew he didn't want to marry you. You issued the ultimatum. Then you've got to let your own inner masculine take care of you. You've got to have a strong spine and you've got to say, then I don't want to be part of this anymore. Or then I do want to keep seeing you and I'm taking the accountability and responsibility for that. And I'm not expecting you to be something you're not.
Yeah, that whole thing, it was just really out of character for what we saw on this show for
I
her.
agree.
Being very mature. And I feel like they all come in that way though. Nobody has any personal accountability. I mean, Nick, I guess, kind of did,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, but I also think it was poor judgment on whoever cast these people to allow a person who's addicted to drugs and alcohol to be on the show. Like, personally, in my opinion, like, that's not fair to him. That's not fair to his partner. That's not fair to whoever has to be. Like, he's obvious, and he, like, admitted that, you know, he was, like, had a problem.
Yeah,
So
but
why?
didn't he say, and I don't remember, but I feel like he was saying he used it to deal with the pain of and like to numb out, which I'm not saying that isn't an issue, it is. But
Yeah.
like I don't think he was, or at least from my understanding, tell me if you heard it differently. I don't think he came in
Well,
as like a raging alcoholic.
I've listened to some other podcasts
Oh.
with him. I guess I shouldn't. I guess I should not have done that before we got together and started talking, but I'm available.
Give me the juicy details. Tell me.
He openly admitted in one of them that like from what I remember, I could be remembering it wrong, that he was like heavy
Mm, mm.
into his addiction and then like things would happen. So obviously that would set him off and then he'd go ahead and drink some more. And
Yeah.
Vanessa alluded to that. I think that's why she was like, peace out. This is way more than what I signed up for. And I don't blame her. I know that people are like, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. But if I'm in a room with a psychopath that I don't know well, I'm not staying in that situation. There's
No, no, especially if they're like drinking heavily and all that, because
no amount of money
no,
being paid or whatever. Because I think from another podcast I listened to, I need to stop listening. The one girl was like, man, they must have a lot of money to be able to like, get out of their contract. So, I mean,
Mm,
some kind of fine or something, but maybe she was able to tell them,
yes, I feel unsafe, and that's a different situation.
yeah, because I mean, that was what I was getting out of it. I think she was trying to be really nice about it in the
Yes.
reunion, but I mean, the way he behaved several times, I'm like, oh yeah, I could see why you'd be a little uncomfortable there.
Yeah, me too. But I will say, I feel like at the reunion, Nick was very, I don't know, I was going to say transparent, and I don't know if that's the exact right word, but I feel like he said, um, okay, well, what I saw when I watched the show back about Sandy and JR as two people that were falling for each other, and that's great for them. But it just showed me that what I was worried about was true. And I just think he handled it well. And him saying, like he flat out said, being with an artist is like, it takes a different kind of person to do that. It is a different kind of relationship. And what I
Yeah.
think he was wrapped up in that statement was they they can feel their feelings deeply, and maybe that means they drink or they act crazy or whatever. And you know, are you along for the roller coaster ride? I think hopefully going to rehab or whatever he did was helpful for him. Um, and again, I said to you before, like, it's not that I think like every artist is like this, but I've dated artists. My ex-husband was an artist. Um, my experience with artists, they do, it is kind of like they're like more emotional than I am. And
Yeah.
you know, it is a roller coaster, and they do drink a lot, and there's a whole thing there. And
I,
I'm not here for it.
as you say, I think that's okay to a point, but like, I mean, I could say that I'm a mom, so it's okay for me to be psycho all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I have
Mhm.
three that totally justifies me being psychotic 1,000% of the time. I
Yeah.
mean, and that's just I could be wrong. I'm not an artist. I've never been in that position. I'm an
Mhm.
emotional person, but I also think for me, when I am that emotional, I don't feel great. I don't feel like I'm in alignment with myself. I don't feel like I'm acting
Uh-huh.
the way that I want to act or show up for anyone in my life. So,
So what I'm
do you feel good?
curious,
Like, does it feel good to be that way? Like, does he
right,
like it? Like, to feel that way?
right. If like feeling good is our North Star, which is I always want to feel good in my pleasure, proud of myself. Like when I go into like some kind of a shame spiral or a embarrassment, or like sometimes I look at that and I'm like, oh my God, that's such an old thing. And I have no reason to even feel embarrassed. It's just like I was just being human and it's normal. Like I didn't even do anything bad. It's just the good little girl messages that I received in my
Yeah.
life. But sometimes it's like, oh, I did really act out of alignment with myself. I mean, I was obviously some part of me was in alignment because I did it, but it's just something, in my opinion, that needed to come up and out so I could look at it again and make a shift and take more responsibility for myself and make a shift to show up as the version of me that I want to show up as now. Because we're always evolving, right? Like we want to show up differently all the time because we are just learning and growing.
Yeah.
Um, but I do have a question about your saying that you're an emotional person and that it feels out of alignment for you.
I would say being emotional feels out of alignment. I just think there are certain actions
Mhm.
that and whatever
Yeah.
I'm emotional and I was not in alignment when those actions occurred. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something. So go ahead with your
Well,
question.
no, I mean, it's something that I'm gonna ask that we kind of have touched on previously, but I'm really into human design and um, I don't know, a year and a half or so into my a conscious experiment of human design for myself. Like I was playing with it before, but really like year and a half, like full on experiment mode. And just looking at my design and playing with my own like strategy and authority and my line numbers and my makeup. So knowing that you are a mental projector from that framework of human design, I'm just curious if it kind of feels like a lot for you or whatever, because you actually are feeling others people's emotions because you don't have a defined emotional center. So you're feeling others and you're reflecting them back outward, projecting them outward even bigger.
Yeah.
So like maybe it kind of feels that way for you. You tell me if this resonates, and if not, that's totally cool. Um, Maybe it feels bigger or like it can take you on a journey that you don't always feel proud of at the end because it's actually like not even your own, like that's not your normal baseline or a self. And so you're getting pulled into a tidal wave of someone else's shit or emotions or whatever. And then it, it feels like a tidal wave has hit you. Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, in reference to my children, yes, that makes total sense. So we're gonna have to talk about that later. But like, in my own, I'm trying to think of my own like relationships. So I'm not with my kids when I'm functioning. It's gonna be something I'm gonna have to think about. I'm trying to think about past situations that I'm like, I was probably overly emotional.
Yeah, like when was a situation when you felt that way and you did something that you felt not good about?
I guess I'm not able to like really, because I mean that was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and I'm been the same person anymore. So I'm like, can I even get to the point where I remember that
Yeah.
those feelings anymore? Like, I
And
think I,
maybe you don't even need to because you've done so much work. I mean, is it okay with you if I just share a practice, no details, but a practice that we have used together?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, like, it makes a lot of sense that you might not even be able to, like, or it would take a lot of conscious effort for you to reach back to that, like 3 years ago when you were behaving a certain way that didn't feel good when you got pulled into the tidal wave. Because one of the things that we've done in our work together is we go into your body because as a medicine woman, like my medicine is to help you to go inside of yourself and get to know yourself more. So we literally have done meditations to go into your body to revisit those moments and completely change what happened.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'm
And
with you.
yeah, you know what I mean? So like it's like, well, oh yeah, it didn't even happen that way. Because once you do that work, it really does change the like chemical makeup. It changes everything in your body. So it's like you might realize it happened that way, like consciously somehow, but you can't it doesn't feel the same in your body because you healed something, you brought a piece of you to wholeness, you shifted an outcome inside of your body, how it felt.
Right. Yeah. So like basically you think about the situation, you know how it happened, but you change it to be how you wanted it to happen. So like you go to whatever, like you're 12 years old, something didn't go your way, you didn't like how it went. Oh, you didn't like how it went. So you go inside and you think about it, you like replay the whole scenario, and then you just change the ending to be like how you wanted to be treated or how you wanted to feel in that moment.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And it's not only just for the people listening, because I know you've practiced this with me so many times that you know this, but for the people listening, and it's not just that you like make up a new story in your head and so you change it that way. Like we really go into your energy body and you feel the different ending, you feel a different feeling, you access that point in yourself where you are 12 years old again. Like you are your 12-year-old self when you are doing this work and you are reliving that moment. It is kind of, I mean, I guess, yeah, it's like a quantum experience because there is no linear time, really. So we can always access all of these points at any moment. Um, yeah, but that's like, it's not just, let me just pretend in my mind it happened differently because that doesn't really, I mean, maybe that would do something for you, but it doesn't do the level of what we're talking about and like what your experience was that you can't really even remember how that felt in your body.
Um, the
what?
iPad's if I'm watching more Chicka Bonbon, I think the iPad's going
It'll be fine.
towards.
Okay, it'll be fine. Go watch one more.
Okay.
We have a snow.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you feel like that's an accurate depiction?
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, perfect. Um, so now I'm trying to get back to what we were talking about. Like, what were we even talking about?
Emotional, and then you got into like healing those parts. But I don't know. I think it was fine. Like it ended. I think it was fine. Whatever. We can move on to The Bachelor now. Um,
Yeah.
I just the reunions I think can be fun, but I also think like, do you ever watch Selling Sunset?
Yeah, I love that show.
Their reunions with Tan, whatever his last name is,
Yeah.
always so much better, I think. Like Nick and Vanessa, they're okay. They're not like, I don't know. Like I think that they think that their questioning is great or their ways that they do the reunions are great. I don't know. The whole situation annoys me because everybody comes in and they're like, this is my truth and I'm going to say what needs to be said. And like they come in with an agenda that they're going to address, like especially Zaina and Arya. They
Oh
came in
my God.
very
Oh,
specific agendas of what they wanted to say. So they were just going to bring up and like change the dialogue to make sure they got to say what they wanted to say. And I don't think that that's the way you should go into it. I think you should just go into it, let
right.
them ask questions, let them say whatever they want to say, and move on. Like,
Yeah, I feel like so to your point about Nick and Vanessa Lachey, I feel like actually, which is shocking to me because um I have been a big fan of like Nick Lachey for I don't even know how many years. I mean, when he did his reality show with Jessica Simpson, I watched that all the time. But even before that, just him being from like the Cincinnati area, all of that was, because I'm from Eastern Kentucky and I don't know, it just felt cool. But I feel like he asks some great questions, especially like of the guys. He kind of pushes them a little bit. I mean, more so than I would think would come from him.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I feel like he at least is a little more like he gets the guy, and I can't think of a good example right now, but I remember in this last one watching it being like, oh, like he's asking, like I think he asked JR something that was,
I'm like, I'm pretty sure he asked JR a question. But I
yeah,
was like,
about him that took JR a little bit deeper and off of the superficial only. Um, but the Arya and Zaina thing, which went on my rampage about Zaina, but Arya, I feel like she just came in there like after Caleb. Like she
I
was,
think she really, I think if Caleb left Mariah, that Arya would like date him, no questions.
oh, I do too. And I think that she kind of wanted to make Mariah mad or,
At the end, like they went like Arya went straight over to Mariah and started talking to her.
mhm.
So I don't know what she said. I'd be curious. I'd be more curious what she said to Mariah afterwards than the rest of the stupid reunion. I mean, it was okay. I shouldn't say stupid. It was enjoyable enough. Like, it just annoys me when they all come in with their own like, because I just think like, okay, Caleb liking your stories, like, big freaking whoop. What are we 12 years old?
Yeah,
Years.
I know. I know. And
Blocking her is very stupid. Like that's immature.
yes. Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. I think I want to know the story of why he did that. I want to
Yeah.
know his perspective, and they didn't get into it. But I also think that it's so obvious to me that he is afraid of his own power and afraid of being in touch with himself and really using his knowing to make decisions and trusting that that's the exact perfect thing for everybody. So
Yeah.
I don't know that he, like his proposal to Mariah was so sweet, but I don't know that he actually is resolved with the Arya stuff because I don't think he let himself open up to that or feel that, like not even just with her, but in himself.
Yeah. He definitely could use some closure, I would think.
Yeah, there's something still, and you could see it all over his face when she said that her and Scotty were no longer together. Like it was all over his face. Just, I don't know. I don't.
I think he's afraid to hurt people. That's what I get from
Mhm.
him. I
Oh,
think
me too.
he's just
Mhm.
afraid to hurt anyone. He doesn't want to hurt anyone. I think he's a stand-up guy. Maybe he's not. He did like her stories. I mean, I really think he's a stand-up guy. He seemed, I mean, if he just would step into his masculine a little bit more,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
would
To lead a woman,
be unstoppable, I think.
yeah. To lead a woman, a man has to trust himself.
Yeah, he has good intuition, I think.
I do too. Yeah. And I think he
They didn't
has,
much, which was kind of annoying.
he what?
Can't really talk to him and Mariah very much, which is kind of annoying. Like,
Yeah. 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 And I do think he has like this great leadership ability. It's just he fears himself. So that is work for him. And in that regard, it makes sense to me that he's drawn to Mariah and that they're drawn to each other because she also fears herself. She has a lot of fear. Like just watching it, that's what I would say. Obviously, like I don't know them, right? Like this is from what I've seen. Um,
right.
so then of course they're attracted.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like there are any other standout moments? Like, I thought it was stupid that Dave had to bring up the fact that he didn't like Vanessa farting. Like, that's really what kind of annoyed me about the whole thing, where people come in with their agendas of what they want to say. Like, Dave, I had forgotten all about that. It was so that there's so many things I feel like that are so insignificant that they think are significant that they want to come back and like
Like,
address it.
I just need to set the record straight about if I like that she farts or not. Like, who gives a fuck?
I don't know. It would that's what just aggravates me about the whole thing. It's just their agendas and they come in and they think that that's like a big deal. Like the whole hall pass thing. Like who cares?
Well,
I wasn't so like going, oh my gosh, who really said that? Like I don't care.
oh, no, I don't give a shit who said that, but I will say, and I know, and like Zaina had that on a QR code under her nail. Like that was wild to me. I'm like, what is happening? But um, I don't care about like who said it or whatever. I don't really need to know. But I will say that when they showed all those clips of JR talking like that,
Yeah, disgusting.
yeah, my thing is just I have no problem with you being like that if you're just transparent and honest about being that way. It's like if people want to be in open relationships or non-committed relationships, that's not a problem. I've done that. I dated a guy for years and we loved each other deeply, like
Yeah.
very deeply. And there were certain things that it was like I wasn't getting certain things out of the relationship that I wanted. And I just knew if you aren't able to give this to me, then I want to see other people, but I still want to see you because I love you and I care about you. And I'm the one that brought that up. And that's what we did. And I told him, I don't want to know anything about your dates. I don't want to know, as long as you're keeping me safe, that's all I care about. Don't even, I just don't want to know. I don't care. I just want to be in like the moment when I'm with you.
Right.
And that was fine. There was nothing wrong with that. In my mind, there's nothing wrong with that. But like, it would have been wrong of me. And just, I'm all about integrity. So it would have been like out of integrity for me to be acting like I'm so in love with him and only seeing him when I'm really like sneaking around going on dates with other people.
Yeah.
I just so that's where my thing is. It's like, no, be a man and say what you actually mean. And it's okay if you want to go sleep around with people. That's fine. There's not a problem with that. But say that and be honest.
I just thought it was gross. As a female that barely knows somebody else, if they're like telling me that they like blowjobs, I would be
Oh, yeah.
like, don't ever talk to me again. Like, don't
Right.
talk to me again. I could care to talk to you ever.
Yeah. Well, I think he was testing the waters with who he could match up with and possibly get some booty out of it.
Yeah,
That's how I saw it.
Just to me, it's not cute. Which I mean, it is the ultimatum. So I guess if it was on Love Is Blind, I'd be even more horrified. But
oh yeah,
it's like I don't want to match with you. Like, ew, gross.
Yeah, but maybe some people, like Sandy was okay with that, right? Like that, and even
like sarcastic. Okay.
Yeah, like even in the reunion, she didn't. She like doubled down that she didn't mind that, and it was fine, and he was really deeper than that, and that's fine. That's her. So they lined up. But I just find, for me, it's like integrity is a core value for me.
Yeah.
And so when I see people being out of integrity, it just bothers me. And I also wonder what it is about people that they can't just tell the truth.
I think just it's their own insecurities. They're insecure about their truth. They're not that sold or set on it. So they're just insecure and they don't want to admit to it. Like, I don't know. He just was immature the whole episode. And he, Dana's talking and he's like, okay. And like kept making like little comments. I'm like, you're not helping yourself at this point. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm excited to start The Bachelor. I'm glad.
Oh gosh, me too.
I had so much fun with the ultimatum. I'm really excited to see where The Bachelor takes us. I'm excited to start new with new people. It's gonna be
Does it start tonight?
I don't think so. Does
Oh,
it? I don't think so. I think it's like the 27th, 20 something, I think.
of January.
Yeah, I think. I'll have to look.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and by tonight, I mean, obviously, when people are hearing this, it's later. We're recording this towards the beginning of January. So,
Yeah. For a
um,
little whole ultimatum thing, which, yeah, it's fine. It was fun. It was fun to watch. I'm really glad that we watched it. I've never watched a whole season all the way through.
you did it, girl. You made it through it.
Yeah, we both did. I think it was good. I think our conversations were good. It was a good time.
Yes, I enjoyed it.
Okay, well, I
All
have a
right.
little boy.
Yeah, we'll sign off. We'll go. Have a happy Monday. And I saw you all played in the snow earlier.
I
Um,
would snow again tomorrow. I'm hoping for another
yeah,
snow day.
yeah, maybe get out there again.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.